Support for the production of Making a Chef comes from Methodist Senior Services, serving older adults with 12 campuses across the state, offering a range of options for housing and services to help elders transition into the next age. Methodist Senior Services, celebration, innovation, and hope. And Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi, encouraging wellness through personal engagement and access to quality health care, because it's about you, your health, and your life. More information is available at bcbsms.com.
Being a child around this many corn products, there's so many references and jokes I could tell. So let me tell you a funny story. Earlier this morning, I was talking to my producer and he said, we really need to kick this out in one take. But I'm tired, my coffee hasn't quite kicked in, so I said, no masa, senor, no masa. But he said, don't worry, you don't have to flake out. We can knock this out in a jiffy. So put your listening ears on as we dive into the wonderful world of this green corn.
Amazing.
I'm here in my downtown. I'm going to one of my favorite restaurants, Restaurant Tyler. Chef Ty is doing some amazing things by growing his own corn and grinding his own grits in-house. Let's go inside and see what he's doing. Good to see you again, Chef.
Hey Mark, how we doing, buddy?
I'm doing good.
You ready to get back here and see what we're doing?
All right, I'm ready.
Let's do it.
All right, Chef, so this looks like a grinder. Is that what it is?
Well, it's basically a mill. Right now we have some corn in there. So this is just dried kind of dent corn. And what'll happen is it's gonna go to the hopper through the feeder here, and then it's gonna go to those stones.
So then it'll grind
and that's
it?
Where it grinds it. And so when it comes out of the box, this is what it looks like. So you'll get flour, you're gonna get a little bit of everything. And so what we do is we take that and then we pour it into water and we hydrate it overnight.
Okay.
And so whisk this in, the impurities of the husk and whatnot, it's kind of floated. So all we do is we just kind of skim that and then we'll let it sit overnight. We've milled some masa, which is basically just taking it all the way down to not cornstarch, but yet to a flour state.
Okay.
And the different process of masa we can talk about over here. Perfect. So we can move to our station and we can talk more about it.
All right, Chef, so I see a variety of things here. I see corn husks, I see what I think is grits. So what are we doing?
So what we have here is the white corn to white grits, the yellow corn to yellow grits, and then the flint corn to flint grits. The corn we eat today isn't the corn that our ancestors ate. The type of corn we eat today is called dent corn. And basically you can see a little dent. And so that's kind of like mass-produced corn of today. The white corn, which we'll be kind of working with today, get turned to white grits, which is this. And then we brought it all the way down through the miller to this masa.
It's the base of tortillas, am I correct?
That's right, that's right. So we're gonna do a tamale.
All right, so Chef, it's been a couple years since I had my last tamale. Can you remind me, what exactly is a tamale?
So basically, it's the corn masa and then with the meat stuffing. So this is the, after the masa, we added the water, a little bit of salt, and then basically that's it. And then we just get to a texture where it's smooth, and then we add in bacon drippings or lard. We're just gonna take a healthy scoop, kind of put this in the center. So we're just gonna kind of put a smooth little paste here. So basically what this is kind of like a polenta is. It's going to get firm. And so it's gonna basically encase that meat. So right here, we basically made a braised lamb. It's like a lamb basic bolognese. And so we're gonna put this kind of right here in the center. I'm just gonna kind of dive in my hands here. And we're just gonna spread just a little bit all the way throughout. So when we fold it over, it's gonna encase the meat. I'm just gonna kind of pull it to where I can get the innards and it's firm.
Oh, okay.
So then I'm just gonna roll it on itself. So now then I have it like this. I'm gonna pinch this in. and then kind of push that filling
Yeah.
as I fold, and I'm gonna fold that over. And then on this end, I'm gonna kind of feel where it's at until it gets full, and I'm gonna make sure it's full all the way through, and I'm gonna fold that in like this. And then we stack it just like that. And then we make about 50 of these at a time.
Oh man, I bet you that's fun.
Do you want to give this a try?
I'll give it my best. So just even right in the middle.
Yep. Kind of piece it in there together. There you go. As long as you get the enough to go over the meat. Yeah, you got it. That's it. And then you just do the meat right in the center.
But all right. So you said roll it over and kind of encase it, and then pull it tight.
All right, and you roll it. That's all right. Just roll it on up. We can fix it. There we go.
All right, so
and then we'll basically you smush this side in. Yep. Pinch it. Yep. And pull it down and bend it, and then you do the same thing on the other side. There you go. There you go.
oh, this is just a little messy.
It's all right. And then that, and pinch it, and then pull that side over. Yep. And put it on like that.
Well, I can definitely tell you're the professional here, but oh.
Luckily, I've already have some made for us. So basically, we'll just kind of undo it, and then basically that right there is just a little Delta tamale.
Oh wow.
So we're gonna do a Delta tamale, and then we're gonna do a deviled egg.
Okay.
We're gonna kind of deconstruct that deviled egg, and then to make it to where it goes with the tamale. I think the profiles of the flavors really match up well.
All right.
So what I've made here is basically an egg yolk mousse. And so we're just gonna kind of pipe this mousse on the plate here. Maybe there, maybe there. Then what we have here is the whites. And I made an egg salad basically, but instead of using like mayo and kind of the traditional egg salad, we went with the yogurt. And then we added an herb mint. And I'm just gonna put a dab of it here. These are really just kind of garnishes for the plate. There. And then there's nothing really more southern to me than a fried pickle.
You're not lying.
And so to me, this brings not only texture, but it also brings it an acidity that I feel that the tamale needs.
Yeah.
The tamales are really round and rich.
Yeah.
So with the deviled egg, with the acidity in that, and then with the crunchiness of the pickle, it kind of brings the dish together.
So I assume you make your own pickles in house?
We do. We make our own pickles. Everything we pretty much do is in house. And then nothing's complete. You got to put the devil and the devil's egg, right? And then that's basically kind of our tamale with the deconstructed deviled egg.
That's one beautiful dish, Chef.
If you're ready to give it a try, let's go and give it a shot.
All right, Chef, so after everything, all of that hard work we put into this, I'm ready to eat, and it looks amazing.
You can see how it folds in on itself, and that meat is kind of now a stuffing. What I really like is if you now that you kind of try each and every part, and then you kind of try all the parts together, that kind of brings the dish to a whole.
Wow, that yogurt and that mint is just amazing. So, Chef, if someone at home, they wanted to make tamales, do you have any tips or tricks they should do?
I would say practice. Practice makes perfect, right?
Thanks for having me. Thanks for teaching me all of this, and it's been awesome to be back.
Well, I hope you enjoyed everything, and I hope that, with this dish, you can take it back to, give creativity a try on your own dish.
Yeah. Today we have Dr. Brent back in my kitchen. He's going to teach me how to make some amazing healthy snacks. Thanks for being back, Dr. Brent.
Appreciate it, Mark. Glad to be back. So today I thought we might do another Mexican take, but this time with vegetables.
Ooh.
First thing what I want you to do is take maybe about a half a cup let's do a cup. We're kind of hungry today, so let's do a cup of that. That's about a cup, I would agree with that. You're gonna put in the taco seasonings. So this is one we just wanna add it. It's gonna be our base. It's gonna hold our rolls together. So we'll take that. We just wanna kind of get a good orange color to it. Now this time, we are using just regular sour cream. We can go with a low-fat variety if we want to, but people can make choices. All right, let's take one of those roll-ups. And then what you're gonna do is layer that all over, the mixture on top of it. Good.
Just put a little bit, see?
Put a little bit there, kind of spread it out the middle. Yeah, nice.
Wow, this is nice and thick. I can smell the spices.
You can smell the spice
It smells amazing.
Now, let's take some of the black beans.
Black beans?
Yep, and you're just assembling it like you would a soft taco now. Great. And now add your green chilies. Now, You can add other vegetables to this, which you like. You know, if you like a lot of heat, you could add jalapenos or other spices in there. Of course, the green chilies are going to add some heat. But basically, here's another one that you can make ahead of time and have it ready for when you want. Because like I said, you know, people don't plan to fail.
Exactly.
They fail to plan. So add those pepper slices on there. So you can just like place them just like that. And then come down, and then you can roll from either end. Now, let's just take off the extra ends over there. And then we're just gonna cut it a couple of inches wide so we can get 3 or 4 pieces out of there,
There we go.
Perfect. And so now we've got ourselves, you can grab you one.
Oh wow, those are
Isn't that kind of neat how it rolls up there and puts in the color? So you wanna try it?
Yeah, I'll try one. Looks amazing. Oh wow.
With that seasoning in there is really good.
Mexican food is not exactly my favorite, but this is really good.
Well, like I said, you can put your own spin on it. So if you wanted something not quite as spicy, you could do that as well. These will hold up in the refrigerator for 3 or 4 days. So you had your snack ready for you when you wanted them.
No, thanks for being here again, Dr. Brent. Had a great time and another delicious and simple, healthy snack.
Thanks, Mark. Glad to be here.
Today, I'm gonna show y'all how to make one of my all-time favorite corn dishes, cream corn. This is an excellent side dish to any meal, and it's very easy to make. So, I'm gonna start off by making a roux. A roux is just basically equal parts fat and flour, and it's a very good thickening agent. It is the base of many sauces and soups, such as gumbo. I'm gonna add my 2 tablespoons of butter to the pan, and let it melt, and let it brown up a little bit. Now, browning the butter just gives it a different depth of flavor and gives it a little nuttiness and just makes it more interesting on the palate. The butter is nice and melted, so I'm going to add the flour now. The longer you let your roux brown, the less thickening it does. Since I'm going to puree the corn and make it thicker with its own juices, it's going to be fine. Once the butter and flour are all incorporated, reduce the heat to medium-low and let it brown. This should take about 5 minutes, and you will know when it's browned enough when you can smell a nutty flavor in the air. The roux is a nice golden brown color, and it's starting to smell very fragrant and very nutty in here. So I'm going to slowly add 2 cups of whole milk. When I say slowly, just do a slow drizzle at first, because if you add cold milk or cold liquid to this, it will clump up, so be sure to whisk. If it bubbles out like it just did, be sure to decrease the heat and slowly drizzle in more. Okay, the milk is all incorporated. Now it's time to add just about 2 to 3 tablespoons of heavy cream. I'm gonna go ahead and add my spice mixture. So it's just a mixture of minced garlic and a little bit of its juice, paprika, sugar, and black pepper. And so it formed a little paste, which is fine. I'll mix it right in. Go ahead and add some salt, a heavy pinch, because salt and sugar are corn's best friend. And for a little more depth of flavor, I'm gonna add my spice blend. It's salt, pepper, and smoked paprika, and a little bit of garlic powders. This is a perfect all-around seasoning for any dish. To finish up the spices, add about a teaspoon of freshly grated nutmeg. I'm going to add 1 bag or 16 ounces of frozen or fresh corn. Put the lid on the corn mixture and let it boil for about 5 minutes. All right, the 5 minutes is up. It needs a little more sugar. It needs a little black pepper for just a hint of freshness. I went ahead and transferred some of the mixture to a bowl for holding, and I have this right here. It's called an immersion blender. It's basically a stick blender. You can use a regular blender, you can use a food processor, or you can just leave it chunky. But I'm gonna puree most of the corn to thicken it up a little bit, save some for a little bit of texture. The mixture's a little thick like this one. You can add a little bit to save cream corn, or you can add a little bit of milk or cream. I'm using whole milk. So let's see if that makes a difference. Oh yeah, there we go. I'm going to go ahead and add the reserve back into the pan and keep on cooking it a little more. Turn the heat back on to about medium-high. Keep cooking for about 3 more minutes. So this is nice and thick. There we go. Looks done, smells done, which is always very important, and flavor's right there, and it tastes done. Go ahead and plate this with your favorite steak or your favorite protein, or eat it out of the bowl like I like to do. Grits, one of the cornerstones of Southern cooking. Very easy and simple to make. But have you ever had grit soufflé? Probably not. It's very versatile, very delicious, and it's very fun to make. Let's get started. All right, the first part of grit soufflé is go ahead and chop up a shallot. A shallot is basically a mix between an onion and garlic. So I'm gonna do a fine dice and then I'm gonna saute it. Go ahead and get your pan hot and add a little bit of butter. There you go. Then finish up dicing. I'm only using half of a large shallot. A great substitution for salad is garlic and onion. About 3/4 parts onion and 1/4 part garlic. Perfect. So the butter's all melted. Now it's time to go ahead and add the shallots in. I'm gonna move this to the side and let these saute for about 5 minutes until they're nice and golden brown. All right, now this is at a boil, or just about. So I'm gonna add a healthy pinch of salt, just because salt and grits is a magical marriage, to say the least. And I'm gonna add half a cup of grits and whisk. Put the lid on and be sure to come back every 3 to 5 minutes to check on the grits and whisk them. So I'm gonna add 4 ounces of pepper jack cheese. So just mix it in until it's nice and melted. And I'm gonna add about 1/4 to 1/2 a stick of butter. Beautiful. I'm gonna go ahead and add 3 eggs into this. As soon as you crack them in, whisk as fast as you can so the eggs won't scramble. This is where it differs from a regular soufflé. Normally, you wouldn't add whole eggs. You'd add the egg yolks and you'd whip up the egg whites and then fold it in. Instead, we're just adding it straight into. All right, so right here we have 6 buttered ramekins. Go about 3/4 of the way up or until there's a little line in most ramekins. I like to go up to that line. This is where you can differ from the recipe. You can make breakfast soufflés by adding sausage and scrambled eggs. You can make an omelet soufflé by adding spinach and a lot of fresh vegetables. All right, there we go. So 5 soufflés and some dribbles in one. I count that as a win. Now, put it in a 350-degree oven for 40 to 50 minutes until they're risen about right here and they're nice and brown on top. So they're out of the oven. There you have it. Easy, simple, delicious. Any time of the day, this is for you. When I was at Chef Ty's restaurant, he demonstrated the very different variations of corn. You can grind it very coarse to make cornmeal, or you can grind it very fine to make masa. With masa, you make tortillas. You might think it'd be hard to make corn tortillas, but it is insanely simple. So start off, have your masa, your water, your salt. That's all it is really. So here's my water into my masa. I'm going to add a little bit of salt, put on my gloves, and mix it up. Just go on in. So this will form a dough ball. And so once it's formed, I'm gonna tip it out onto the counter and knead it some. All right, so I keep a little masa to the side just to flour up the board. So dump it all into the middle. After I tip the masa onto the board, I let it rest for maybe a minute or 2 so the proteins will hydrate. And I lost the gloves and washed my hands. It's just easier that way. You can use gloves if you'd like. I prefer just go hands. I also like to keep a little pitcher of water just to moisten up my hands and drop some because it's a little dry right now. You just kind of have to play with it. Same with like a biscuit dough. Awesome. So I went ahead and formed the masa into a ball. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Let this sit in the fridge for about 10 minutes just so everything can relax and hydrate the proteins. The dough has been setting for 10 minutes and everything's nice and hydrated. So it's time to form. Now this is what you call a tortilla press. It's about 8 inches or so. So what you do, get a ball of masa, form it to a rough little ball. Have wax paper or a plastic bag cut in half where it's only connected on one hinge. Put a little ball, whoopsie daisy, flatten it out, put the other piece on top, slide it, and just smush. So you have a rough little tortilla, and so the first few are always the hardest to work with, so it might tear, and so you just have to do like 3 or 4 until you get the hang of it. This recipe makes about 19 to 20 tortillas, so I'm gonna go ahead and form them all. I went ahead and formed all the masa into tortillas, and right here we have a hot pan over high heat. Just throw it down in there, just let it cook. So maybe a minute and a half on each side. Just let it cook till it's brown, there's some black spots, and sometimes it'll puff up, and that's when you know it's done. Looks like it's ready to flip, and it's a nice non-stick pan, so that's to my liking. Beautiful. So you can see it's starting to get golden brown. It needs a few more minutes, maybe 30, 45 seconds on this side. I'm gonna go ahead and let it cook. And it's puffing up a little bit right here. Beautiful, beautiful, just let it cook. Oh yeah, that looks beautiful. I'm gonna go ahead and cook up a couple more, then we should be done. These are very small, you can't roll them that well. So if you want them thicker and longer, roll them even thinner with a rolling pin. But make sure you have a lot of masa down on the counter. Corn tortillas aren't that hard to make at home. All you need is 2 ingredients, a little bit of time, and a little bit of patience. You can make these beautiful, wonderful things. Chef Ty does such an amazing job using corn in his recipes. It is such a versatile ingredient. I'm using it today in Chef Christina's Toasties corn cookies, but I'm putting my spin on it. Normally, the cookie calls for corn flour, which can be expensive or hard to find. Instead, I'm using unsweetened corn cereal, grinding it up in a blender to a fine powder, and it resembles just like corn flour. This recipe is just like any other cookie dough. Start off with 2 sticks of butter or 1 cup. Into the work bowl, I'm adding 1.5 cups of sugar and a pinch of salt. I'm gonna beat this on medium-high speed, 2 to 3 minutes until it's light and fluffy. Now I'm gonna go ahead and add 1 egg. Continue to beat 7 to 8 minutes. All right, it has been beating for 7 to 8 minutes. It is ready to add the corn flour. Go ahead and mix this until it's well and incorporated. It should take about a minute. All right, the corn flour is almost mixed in, so I'm gonna go ahead and add 1 1/3 cups of flour, 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, and 3/4 teaspoon of baking powder. Again, mix for a minute to 2 until it's well incorporated. Now that the flour is incorporated, it's time for me to take these corn cookies to the next level. Corn and strawberry is an amazing combination. So I have about 6 or 7 cubed up strawberries. I laid out on a paper towel, put another paper towel on top, and laid one underneath so that it doesn't drip through. I'll let these dry out for about 30 minutes. It is important for these strawberries to be dry before you bake them. Otherwise, the batter will spread out too much and you won't get a nice uniform cookie. To give it another layer of flavor and crunch, I'm adding a couple more unsweetened corn cereal. It just gives another dimension and finishes off the cookie. I'm not adding quite as many as I do the strawberries, just enough to give it flavor and texture. Mix until these are just combined into the dough. All right, all the ingredients are mixed in. Now it's time to chill the dough for about an hour until we bake it. All right, the dough has chilled for about an hour. Now it's time to form them. So you see this right here? This is called a silicone pat, so it doesn't stick. And you see those little dots? Perfect sizing guide. Now that you're done pouring the cookies, put them in 350-degree oven for 7 to 12 minutes. There y'all have it. That's how you make a delicious sweet treat with corn. And those are some delicious recipes you can do with corn. Thank you, Chef Ty, for showing me the many different stages of ground up corn, varying from grits all the way to polenta. Thank y'all for watching. I'll see you next time. Hey y'all, hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe to our Making a Chef YouTube channel, where we post updates, behind the scene footage, and recipes from the show. Thank y'all for watching. I'll see you next time, and keep on cooking. Hey y'all, I hope you liked it. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe, and turn on the little notification bell right by the subscribe button. Thank y'all for watching. I'll see you next time.